G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Pierre, this is Simple Homebrew. And as you'll know, in the last video I did a classic IPA from Black Rock, and they provided that free of charge. But little do you know, I've actually got 3 of them. So I've got 3 different types of flavours that they've supplied free of charge, so you guys can see how they're done and maybe benefit from it as I go. I today have a porter, a classic porter. The instructions again are on the back. I'll put another barcode here, and you can click on that with your phone, get to their website, see what the instructions are. And on the back of the instructions, it actually says a recommendation on what they feel you should put with it. This time, I'm not going to use their yeast on top. I'm actually going to add what they say I should add, which is a Safal US 05 yeast, as well as a dark malt extract, which is an unhopped dark malt extract. And that should really give it a good kick in the butt and make it work really well. So the first thing I have to do is start brewing. So again, with everything we do, we start off with having to warm up our extract. It is important that you warm up your extract so that it's more pourable. As it is cold in the can, even though it is about 20 degrees Celsius, it's really thick. If you heat it up with hot water for about 10 minutes, I'm using 100 degrees Celsius hot water, and I'll leave it in this bucket here for 10 minutes and get it warm within itself so I can easily pour it and mix it. So I'll add the cans into my little bucket, and I'll heat up 2 litres of hot water and pour it over the top and leave it sit for 10 minutes. So while the kettle's boiling, let me tell you what I'm using for a fermenter today. I have an Apollo Titan. This is a 30 litre Apollo Titan I got from Keg King. I did buy it myself using affiliate money and my own money from gigs I play in bands, and I've been using this a fair bit. It is a pressure fermenter, and you can get a stainless steel top for it nowadays, which I'm going to do in the near future. But now we are using it for this brew, and I'm also going to tip out the sanitizer just before we start mixing. The kettle just stopped boiling, and we're ready to go. I'm going to just pour the hot water in here, just like before. If you haven't seen that video, guys, I'll leave a link up here. It's the one before this one, of course. Now I'm throwing this hot water in, of course, to heat up these cans to make sure they're easier to pour. Pop the lid on, that way I can't spill it and burn myself. This container has a seal on it. Next step is getting my sanitized stainless steel fermenter ready to go for mixing the product in, and it's a little bit different than before. Before I had a plastic fermenter, this one's a stainless steel one. I'm able to actually pour hot water in this unit so I can dissolve and stir my extract as I go. So it's a bit easier to work with when it comes to that. Alright, I'm going to tip out my sanitizer. And what I've got in here is a Stellarsan no rinse sanitizer. It's one I got from Kegland, I believe, and it's been a beauty. It works a treat, never affected my beers, and I have never really, maybe only once, I've had an infection. And it's really not that big a deal. It just happened once. And I don't know if it was an infection, but the beer tasted absolutely awful. And that was because I didn't sanitize properly. So while this extract is warming up, I'd like to thank Black Rock for supplying these products to me. They supplied these free of charge without any expectations. They just said, just use our product when you do the video, and good luck. So the reason why I'm doing this is actually I want to support our local brew shops, our companies who try to supply product to our local area and elsewhere within Australia, mostly at the moment. At the moment, it's Valley Hydroponics and Homebrew. I'll leave a link here to their website. They will supply you products on their website. If you like this product, give it a go, jump on there, have a look. And it's just to promote local business, and that's why I do all this, to try and keep products moving within my part of the world and help other breweries as well. And I've got a channel that's got a few subscribers, and I'm really glad to be able to promote stuff like that, and they're a quality company too. So if you want to connect to them in their website, here's a QR code, check them out, see what you can find. Now, if you didn't see the last video, I'll leave a link here for that video. This is an introduction. This video is a kind of an introduction to the Black Rock product. Black Rock is a company over in New Zealand, part of Spate's Brewery, and they provide this product. The reason why I'm actually promoting it is because I bought this, did a beer, and went, oh my God, this is the best extract brew I've ever made. And it tasted great. And I did it again, and it came out just as good. I think the product itself is high quality and a good product altogether. So please have a look at it. It is really a great product, and I recommend it big time. Okay, the extract is nearly heated up. I'm going to boil another 2 litres of hot water and pour that into my fermenter and get it ready for adding the extract so we can stir it and dissolve it. By the way, I'm using filtered water through a carbon filter, getting rid of the chlorine and chloramine in our municipal water, and it really makes a big difference to your beer and the flavouring. Okay, the kettle's boiled, we're ready to go. I'm going to pour the hot water straight into my fermenter because it's stainless steel and it can handle it. I'll pull the thermal well and lid out. And I'll grab the kettle of hot water and I'll pour it directly in to the fermenter. Just like that. This will help dissolve the extract that's already thinned out from the hot water. I'll pop the thermal well back on just for now. And we'll get the cans out and we'll start opening them up. All cans still recording, yes. First one we've got is the actual dark malt extract. This is one of the things that impressed me about this product, is you don't need a can opener. You can just use it, pull tab, grab it like that, pull it out. How easy, oh look at the darkness of that. How easy is that, by the way? I'm going to have to boil some more water so I can rinse these out. Now, I don't want to waste much of this precious stuff. Now remember, the actual can has been soaking in hot water for about 15 minutes, to be honest. So it is basically sterilised. Let's pour it. Oh, probably should take the lid out first. Pop the lid up here. In it goes. Now, of course, in the last video, I used a funnel, and that was pretty stupid. Like I said, if you want to see the video, check it out up here. I'm just going to sit that back here. As you can see, I'll put a blue mat down just so I can keep things a bit more tidy. The last time I actually made an absolute mess. And because of the water, things get a bit wet too. So this is the porter. This is the actual, I got it the wrong way around. That was the one I did was a dark malt extract unhopped. This is the actual product itself. And every time, the last one too, had a little bit of gas in it. And the lid is much tougher to take off. It's very interesting, I must say. Either that, or the extract, the unhopped extract, is just an older can and they've refined the product. I know these cans are actually new ones. So they may have improved on the actual can quality. So we'll pour that one in. First though, I'm going to give it a smell. Oh, it's chocolate and coffee. Oh my God, that smells good. Let's go. Now this, of course, makes 23 litres, and it is ideal to ferment this at 20 degrees Celsius. Actually, US 05 has a label on it that tells you how much, well, what temperature to ferment at. If you really want a quality beer and you do it under pressure, you take its advice. Okay, so we've got these two. They are very dirty. And on the actual yeast, we've got, ideally it says 18 to 26 degrees Celsius. That's what I'm going to do. It is going in my house because we are in the middle of summer and we get some hot weather. And we get some really cold weather too. So today and yesterday, overnight, was 7 degrees Celsius and then jumped up to 22 degrees Celsius through today. It is really, really fluctuative. I made up a new word. All right, so I need to dispose of the hot water, which is cooled down now. And I need to boil the kettle once more. Put about, I don't know, a litre of water in there. just so I can rinse these cans out. Bugger it, I filled it up to 1.7 litres, which is the actual capacity of these cans. We'll boil that up, and we'll rinse the cans out, and we'll start stirring. Now, while all this has happened, we had a power cut, so I've been waiting for about 10 minutes for the power to come back on. What do you do? Now, while I'm pouring this in, I'd like to thank my Patreons. I have Patreon, guys. If you want to support the channel, please do. Patreon is a channel that allows me to keep brewing, keep doing what I'm doing with the small amount of funds that I get from it, and it keeps me mostly up to date with products as well, if I can. A lot of people send me products from there as well to give me insight on what things are like. Thank you very much, Patreon. You guys are awesome. Really, really appreciate your support. Cheers. What I do is I get a cloth, just a clean one, grab the can, because the can's going to be super hot and it's going to burn you if you grab it fully with your bare skin. And then I'll pour it into the other can. And I'll do that. Whoa, one can's bigger than the other. And swap cans, fluids, until they're perfectly clean again. I guess I've taken fluid out of the can, so it's actually increased the capacity or the amount of fluid I have. Gee, that cloth's getting cold too, hot too. It is very hot water, by the way, but it's working, it's doing the job. As you can see, it's working. That's dissolved all the extract, and I can tell you, that's still very sweet, what I'm taking out of this as well. Okay, they're looking pretty clean, so I'm going to pour one can in. Actually, I'm going to probably pour a little bit more into here, just to give it a little bit. I'm going to pour the rest in here. And I think that's clean enough. What do you think? And I'll just quickly pour this in as well. You know what? It just occurred to me. I've got a fermenter that is awesome, by the way. It has graduations on it, but they're on the inside of it, so it's really hard to tell how much fluid I've got in there. And of course, every time I do this, I forget to measure how much I put in. I'm going to have to do some calculations. Like I said, I had 1.7 litres of water, 2 cans of 1.7, and I noticed that these cans aren't exactly the same. Well, I'm pretty sure they're 1.7 actually, 1.7 kilograms, not litres. Okay. So I'm going to have to measure how much is in each can, calculate that, how much water I put in, which is 2 litres, plus whatever else I put in. You know, I'm going to just guess. I have to get graduations on the side. I'm going to bring it up to a level that I know is close to 23 litres, and I'm just going to work with that. Unfortunately, I forgot again. I forget every time. What am I going to do? It'll still come out really good, and it's a rich brew, so it doesn't really matter that much, does it? Does it? No, I don't think it does. Sorry, I was wrong. The graduations are on the outside of the stainless steel fermenter, but I can't see through it, so I really don't know what level the brew's at. Anyway, I'm going to top it up. I'm going to bring it up to what I feel is 23 litres and work from that. Now, I definitely don't know how much is in there, but there's a lot of foam in there, so that's really going to be a problem. I might have to leave it sit for half an hour, let the foam settle, so I can actually see the level of the actual beer. Sorry, it's a wort, or wort, depends on how you say W-O-R-T. And we'll get back to it. All right, looking at what I've done, you can see it down here. I think we're around about 6 gallons, which is about 23 litres, so we'll work with that. And we'll add the yeast. Look, actually, I should actually take a sample. How am I going to take a sample? Wine teeth. I'm going to use a Nordo siphon for that. First though, because this is at temperature, I need to put sanitizer through this thing. Now, if you guys don't know, this is sanitizer in a bottle. Great idea if you want to preserve or, coat something with sanitizer without having to dip it into a sanitizer. I'll just spray the whole thing inside and out. And what I can do with this, it works like a wine thief. A wine thief is something that you can use to remove wine from barrels. And what they do is you can jiggle them and it will fill up with fluid. And then I can pour it into my hydrometer and test how much gravity we have. So here we go. I'm going to try it, fully sanitized. How much am I going to need? Probably about that. I'll just put that here under here. It's not floating. Ah, there he goes. It's floating now. Now, the idea is when your hydrometer starts floating, it's telling you how much gravity it has, how much sugar it's got in it. And that idea will tell you how much it's going to end up with when it's finished fermenting. At the moment, it's just floating. The problem is I haven't stirred it yet. We all make mistakes, okay? Look, it just happens. Okay, so I'm going to spray that stirring stick, which is plastic, with sanitizer. Let it sit for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to throw it in and stir the crap out of it, because I've just realised I haven't stirred it. And the gravity is at 27 reading. And these are mistakes you can make. If you don't stir it, you don't get the proper reading. So you need to really stir it thoroughly. So in the bottom, you can probably feel, yeah, you can see it. So I'll give it a good stir. We'll stir this for about 5 minutes or so. I don't know, we'll stir it for a bit. Get everything dissolved in the fluid so it's nice and sugary sweet. And we'll get another reading in a minute. Alright, so I've given that a good stir now. It's properly done. Unfortunately, the sample I took, I had to tip out. You can't pour it back in because I didn't sanitize the test tube or the tube for my, what do you call it? My hydrometer. Not to worry, it's only a little bit. Okay, so I'm throwing a bit more sanitizer on my auto siphon, which is now a wine thief. Grab some more product and we shall start again. I'll fill that up and we'll check the gravity. This time I'm going to do it a little bit different and hold it on its side so I don't get so much foam. Yep. Alright, it started to float. Let's check the gravity on that one. Nice and different. You can see the difference already. I shall put the camera on that so you can see. There's a bit of foam in there, so I've got to wait for that to die down so I can actually see what the reading is. It'll take a bit. Once I'm done, we'll let you know what the reading is. Okay, looking at this picture, I reckon it's about 0.042 starting gravity, which is great. It'll be about 4.5% alcohol volume, which is what we really want, nothing too serious. All right, I'm happy. Now, we're going to chuck in our SO5, our USO5, which was recommended on the can to do. Squirt it down. I do know that now we have stirred that up. I do know it's around about 23 litres, so I'm pretty close to what it should be. This is what SO5 looks like. Are you recording? Yes. In the container. Now, I've been told that there's always yeast nutrient in these, so they will no way have an issue with growing and breathing and working. And of course, when I filled this fermenter up, I used, tap water, which is fully oxidized, and I didn't boil the water, which when you boil the water, it actually removes oxidation. So it will go well. The other thing I want to do too, my friends, is I want to taste the first result. It smells chocolatey. It's not as rich as it was. A little bit warm. Oh, it's not super sweet. It's good. It's not bitter. A little bit, not much. And it has a good chocolatey taste. It is a porter, not a stout, and I'm getting a lot out of that. It's a chocolatey, not coffee, oh, coconut. I'm getting a few little flavours in that. It's quite drinkable on its own. It's quite good, very nice. Hopefully, it comes out as a beautiful beer on that. Anyway, in saying that, I need to stir this in, which I'll just shake around a little bit, and it should just mix through. That's it. The yeast is ready to go. I will now put my dip tube and floaty in. The floaty is actually something that will actually render, it'll help me extract the beer later. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually sanitizing it just to make sure that any bacteria that is around won't get in. And the tube has full sanitizer right through it. And of course, it should be perfect once I'm done. And for those who are pressure fermenting, I've got a blow tie with a digital gauge on it. This is from Kegland, and I'm going to throw that on the gas side. But first, I want to pressurise it so I can measure an accurate measurement of how much gas is coming out of it and have that set to about 5 psi so I can get rid of some of the off flavours before we hard pressurise it. Okay, so what you can hear there is my pressure PRV relieving the pressure because it's gone over the maximum pressure. We've got our gauge, which says it's at 0.93 bar, which I don't want it to be set to bar. So how do I change it? There you go, PSI, 13.6. So that's a 15 PSI relief valve. I want to bring it down to, and put the light on so maybe you guys can see that a little bit better. I want to bring that down to 5. That's why I pressurise this to a high pressure, so I can bring the pressure right down to accurately, hopefully, measure it. 3, 2, all right, so 2. I'm going to turn it until I can't hear gas coming out. Right, gas has stopped coming out just at that point, and I'm going to tweak it a little bit. Okay, my hearing might not be great, but it's around about 5 psi. It'll probably drop a little bit as the wort cools down, but it will come back when the yeast starts progressing and coming through. I'm going to leave it at that. I'll check it on periodically, make sure that it's not over pressurizing. We shall see you when the fermentation has finally finished. This is it. This is the half carbonated beverage. This is the one that's basically it's pressure fermented, so it's got carbonation in it and it stays that way. 2 weeks ago I burnt my feet, so I haven't been able to do any brewing, and it's been a bit of a pain. Now I'm happy to say they're healing and I can probably go to work soon and get my life back into order. This looks awesome, already smells great. It fermented for 2 weeks and I use US-05. I didn't use what came in the kit because the first one, which was the classic IPA, didn't ferment down enough with the yeast they provided. So US-05 definitely is a go for these beers. If you want to grab a packet of that when you actually grab one, do so. It makes a huge difference. But the smell is really nice. Caramelly, doesn't have a yeasty smell at all. And that's probably because I fermented it down under pressure and kept it at room temperature, 20 degrees Celsius. It smells great. It smells really fresh. It smells like a new beer. Looks great too, by the way. I got my old Headmaster glass that I got pretty cheap, to be honest. I'm smelling a little bit of chocolate. It's just smelling normal, which is great. That's what you really want. And you can actually grab kits from these guys too that have a huge mix of hops. It's basically a craft beer kit that you can get from these guys as well. I haven't got hold of one yet, but I will, and that'll be my next brew. After I do these 3 beers, I'm going to do a tasting with some friends, and we'll tell you what they taste like. Cheers. It's quite good. I expected there to be a bit of bitterness. It isn't warm. It isn't hot. It's cool, warm. Got a bit of fruitiness in it. It's probably something to do with the yeast. It would have done that, maybe. Oh, but all in all, it does need a little bit of carbonation. It's got some, but not enough. Bear in mind, this is fresh out of the fermenter. I still have to age this for a couple of weeks or longer to make it actually settle into its proper flavouring. It's quite warm today, by the way. It's beautiful. It actually tastes very, very, very nice, and it's quite palatable. The fermentation fermented down to 10.012, and the starting gravity was 10.044. Here's the alcohol volume here. And if you guys want to grab one of these, grab yourself a phone, scan this QR code for Hydroponics and Homebrew, Valley Hydroponics and Homebrew in my area, or go here, check out their website, have a look what you like over there, and see if you can get yourself one. These kits, there's a second to none. They are really high quality, and the flavours are professional. They're not homebrew style. They actually have a good flavour to them. This one, I'll of course have to age, but at the moment it's quite palatable. Very nice. If you guys like the look of these beers, I do like them, and of course, I've said this before, Black Rock has given me these beers for free, and I get to try them for free, and I get to film them to let you guys know what they're about as well, and I'm really glad to do that. Check the link down below. I'm only here to support our local brew shops. If you want a kit like this, buy it from your local brew shop. Don't go online. Check it out in your local brew shop. Get some money back into our brew suppliers in our own hometowns. And this is a reason why I'm doing all this, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. There's one more to go, and then we're going to tasting. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next brew.